Welcome to the RJI Futures Lab, where we help you make your organization more innovative. I'm Ruben Stern. This week, some creative formats for helping online readers understand the news. The website Vox.com has a simple mission: explain the news. A key part of that involves a unique format called the card stack. Futures Lab reporter Tatiana Daria visited Vox's office in New York to learn more about the site's approach.
To better explain the news, Vox is experimenting with a new format, card stacks, Q&A card explainers that help readers understand the context of the news.
So at the bottom of every article, there's like a little card there. And it relates to the article itself. So if you're a little bit confused in terms of what the topic is, you can just see a brief explanation of the backstory that goes into, whatever subject matter is being discussed within that article itself.
Once you select a card, you're directed to the card stack for that particular topic. The index on the left side of the page details the questions answered in each card in the stack. You can navigate through the index or flip from card to card with the option to share on social media. Vox even includes a card at the end of some stacks explaining how and when the cards in the stack were updated. The last option in the index takes you to the main page, where you can browse the entire collection or search for a particular topic to delve into. Max Fisher is one of the former Washington Post writers who came to Vox. He started experimenting with different forms of explainers back at the Washington Post, like this article on Syria that went viral.
I wrote the Syria article based on what questions are my friends asking me, and they were asking stuff like, where even is Syria? Why does Syria have those crazy borders? And those are things that for structural reasons you can't address in a normal day-to-day newspaper article, but people are so grateful when you can kind of give them that essential backstory and really speak to their points of curiosity instead of just telling them what was the latest development.
For someone who has experimented with different formats, including video, I asked him what works better.
For something where it's a relatively simple answer, maybe, but something that requires some visuals, video is a great way to do it. Oftentimes, if it's complex, you need text, but even though a lot of traditional newspaper journalists hate the idea of putting things in a numbered list, if you read a 4,000-word article that's really serious and heavy, and then every 200 words you put in a numbered, bulleted subhead, guess what? You just made that article much, much easier to read using a formatting change. People sometimes make the mistake of thinking they need to write to the format, but what they actually want to do is take the format and put it towards what they're trying to accomplish with the piece. So that's the first thing I think you want to ask yourself is, what am I trying to accomplish by writing this or making this video? And then what formatting tools do I use to get there? Instead of, oh, lists are popular, so I'll make a list. Part of your job is not just reporting, but figuring out how to help readers through really difficult subjects. I think that's something that people are starting to figure out more, and I think it's one of the innovations we're trying to really focus on.
For the Futures Lab, this is Tatiana Daria.
Vox recently launched a story format for Q&A interviews that lets users toggle between the full conversation and an edited set of highlights. You'll find a link to an example along with this video. Bloomberg News is another organization creating online explainers. After users told Bloomberg they couldn't find the answers they needed, the staff created a format called QuickTakes. We sat down with QuickTakes editor Jonathan Landman to explore what he calls context-first journalism.
QuickTakes are short, contextual backgrounders on news topics. For example, when there was a lot of news about the U.S. debt ceiling and the fight about it in Washington, news stories told you a lot about what was going on in the fight. The QuickTake told you, what is the debt ceiling? Why do we have one? Where did it come from? Is it a good idea? So the idea is to help people understand what's going on in the news and sort of tolerate the barrage of news.
Up to 650 words, 3 categories: the situation, the background, and the argument, help readers get through the news quickly.
People, I think, are growing restless with how difficult it is to understand news. In the old days, a newspaper was wonderful at helping you understand news. It was a package. It had a beginning, it had an end. You could read whatever you wanted of it, put it down and say, I feel like a pretty well-informed citizen today, right? But on the internet, you can never say that. It keeps coming at you, the Twitter feeds and the email alerts, and you never feel like an informed citizen. You feel like an idiot because there's more and you can't handle it. So I think what QuickTakes try to do is to say, okay, stop. You want to know what's going on in Ukraine, why it happened? Here's 650 words. Charts, graphs, maps.
Although Landman says QuickTakes are useful for people, it takes a fair amount of organization to do them. There are currently 1 part-time and 4 full-time editors working on QuickTakes.
One of the advantages Bloomberg has, and one of the reasons it works here, is because Bloomberg has all these reporters, and they tend to be very formidable specialists in their topic. So, for example, we just did one on the kind of strange and scary corporate structure that Chinese internet companies use when they go public. That's a difficult subject. It's a technical subject. It's very easy to make mistakes. We have people here who really know that subject. So they can strip away everything that's not needed and give you the 600 to 650 words that you need to have. Very few news organizations have that kind of sweep and reach.
For the Features Lab, this is Tatiana Daria.
Bloomberg plans to integrate the QuickTakes content into its opinion site, Bloomberg View. And that's it for this report from the RJI Futures Lab. I'm Ruben Stern. We'll see you in the future.